Want to build stronger connections with your customers? In today's episode of Brand for Good, we're diving into how empathy-driven marketing can boost trust, engagement, and growth. Tune in now to learn how putting your customers first leads to better results. Welcome to Brand for Good, the show for purpose-driven leaders who want to build timeless brands and create sustainable impact. I'm Lorraine Sugart, former PR and marketing executive turned founder of the disruptive agency Prosper for Purpose. I've worked with some of the world's most beloved brands, and I'm here to help you elevate your brand identity, visibility, influence, and impact. Are you ready to brand for good? Let's go. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Brand for Good. I appreciate each and every listener. I'm Lorraine Sugart, and I'm so excited because today's episode could fundamentally change the way you approach your marketing strategy. My topic is human-centered marketing. Specifically, we're going to talk about empathy and how putting yourself in your customer's shoes can drive better business outcomes. Every customer wants to feel understood. We're all customers for other brands, and we get that, right? Consumers don't just want products or services. They want solutions that solve their problems and experiences that meet their emotional needs. This is where empathy comes in. And in this episode, we're going to break down how to incorporate it into your marketing strategy to create stronger, more meaningful connections with your audience. I'm going to cover 4 subtopics within our main topic today. So I'll talk about what human-centered marketing is and why it matters, the role of empathy in marketing, and I'll give you some examples of empathy-driven marketing strategies, and then finally, practical steps to make your marketing more human-centered. So what is human-centered marketing? It's a strategy that places the customer at the center of everything you do. Rather than focusing solely on selling your products or services, you're actually going to shift your attention to understanding your customers' needs, desires, and pain points. This shift in focus allows you to create marketing messages that resonate on a deeper level and build trust with your audience. Human-centered marketing is about creating a personalized, emotional connection with your customers. You're not just saying, here's who we are, here's what we offer. You're conveying, here's how we can help you. This is a subtle but important distinction, and it can be the key to standing out in today's crowded marketplace where consumers are overwhelmed by options and are seeking brands they feel truly understand them. And empathy is the cornerstone of human-centered marketing. By developing a deep understanding of your customers' challenges and goals, you can craft messaging, develop products and services that make them feel heard and valued. Empathy is the essential ingredient in human-centered marketing. Empathy in the marketing sense means putting yourself in your customer's shoes and understanding their feelings, their challenges, and their desires. It's about seeing the world from their perspective. When you approach marketing with empathy, you can create campaigns, content, and experiences that resonate deeply with your audience. Why is this so important? Because consumers are more likely to engage with and remain loyal to brands that they feel understand them. When your customers feel like you get them, they're more likely to trust you and then engage with your content and ultimately choose your brand over your peers. One of the biggest shifts that I've seen in marketing over the past at least 5 years now is the move from transaction-focused marketing to relationship-focused marketing. And empathy is at the heart of this transformation. Brands that prioritize relationships over transactions see higher customer retention rates and better long-term success. This is another case of doing the right thing leading to better results. Now, here are 3 ways empathy can drive better business outcomes. It can improve customer loyalty because when people feel understood, they're more likely to engage and become loyal to your brand. Higher conversion rates. So empathy-driven messaging speaks directly to your audience's needs, and that increases the likelihood of prospects becoming customers. And then finally, there is a whole positive brand perception associated with this. Brands that show they care about their customers' well being and their views are seen as more favorable than their peers, leading to stronger reputations and positive word of mouth. So let's look at a couple of big brand examples that have used empathy to create powerful marketing campaigns. So, okay, I'll start with Dove's Real Beauty campaign, which I have mentioned probably in 3 other podcast episodes, but it's one of my all-time favorite campaigns. And it's also one of the most well-known empathy-driven campaigns. And that's that the Real Beauty initiative, rather than promoting traditional beauty standards, Dove, with that campaign, chose to celebrate women of all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds. By addressing a universal pain point, the societal pressure on women to look a certain way, Dove created an emotional connection with its audience, building loyalty and trust. The brand positioned itself as one that truly understands and cares about women's self-esteem. Another one is Warby Parker, another one of my favorite B Corps. Warby Parker, the eyewear company, if you don't know who they are, is another great example. So their empathetic approach starts from the customer service side and extends through the marketing. Warby Parker understands that buying glasses online can be intimidating, so they, right out of the gate, developed customer-centric policies like free home try-ons and easy returns. They really disrupted the whole eyewear market with their new approach. And then their messaging and their policies revolve around making the customer feel comfortable and supported, creating a seamless, empathetic buying experience. So we talk about brand a lot. It's where what you say meets the experience that people have with your brand, and Warby Parker has made this seamless. The last campaign, big brand campaign that I want to mention is Nike's You Can't Stop Us campaign. Do you remember that one from 2020? Nike's You Can't Stop Us campaign was an empathy-focused campaign during the COVID-19 pandemic. And it really was a great example of understanding the collective emotions of the world at large at that point in time. And while many brands were pushing products, Nike created a message of resilience and unity, reminding people of the power of perseverance. This approach connected with an audience on an emotional level as it spoke to the challenges everyone was facing during that time. Now, if you haven't seen Nike's You Can't Stop Us campaign or Dove's Real Beauty campaign, all you have to do is go Google them. And if you don't know about Warby Parker, same. Check them out. They're all really interesting campaigns, and Warby Parker's customer experience is very clear on their website. Finally, I want to share an example from work that my agency did. So Prosper did a campaign a ways back called My Body Matters. And it was a campaign to increase screenings for breast and cervical cancer in areas where cancer fatalities were above the norm. So we conducted a series of focus groups where we set aside our assumptions of why women wouldn't go to get their mammograms and their cervical cancer screenings. And we asked women. So I think we did 3 different focus groups and had real conversations with women about what got in the way. And we learned so much. So we looked at areas where there was no public transportation and maybe a family only had one car, all the way to being told that women were embarrassed because they didn't have a nice bra. And so what we did was, through the campaign, we did a series of videos to put women at ease, to show them that, well, when you go for a breast screening, a mammogram, you change into a hospital gown. And so your bra stays in the room where you get changed. So that is not an issue. So we addressed other issues as well through the campaign. And we shared stories of women who had experienced breast cancer or who had a family of breast cancer, and how important and why it was important for them to get their annual mammogram. The campaign did really well. It had good results, and it was because we addressed the concerns and told them either we can eliminate this as an obstacle or we can help you make the connections that will better able to get you in for these screenings. So in each of these 4 examples, the brands, the people working with them took the time to understand their audience's emotions and then use that knowledge to craft campaigns that addressed their concerns and resonated on a deep and personal level. Is this making sense? I hope so. I hope that as you're listening, you're thinking about how you could apply this to your own marketing. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So, here are some practical tips that you can take to make your marketing more human-centered. So listen to your customers, of course. Use surveys, social media, and direct customer feedback, which I like the best, to understand their needs, pain points, and desires. The more you know about the people that you're trying to serve, the more effectively you can communicate with them. Next is to create buyer personas. So we talk about the ICA, your one ideal client avatar, but the reality is most of us do have a couple different personas. We certainly found out with the My Body Matters campaign, we had women living in different areas where access to transportation differed, and there were all kinds of, and sometimes even community pressures. So you have to really understand that sometimes you will have different buyer personas, and that's okay. Developing those detailed customer personas can actually help you better understand the unique needs and motivations of either your core audience or your core audience segments. So when you're creating these personas, you really need to dig deep into their beliefs and their emotions and their challenges and their aspirations. And honestly, focus groups or one-on-one interviews are the very best way to get to that because they're not even always something that people would give you as their first answer. Number 3 is to focus on storytelling. So stories are one of the most powerful ways to connect with people emotionally. When you tell stories that reflect your customers' struggles, dreams, and values, you create a strong emotional bond with them. I've done episodes on storytelling. If you want to become a better writer of stories, you can go back and catch that episode. So number 4 is solve problems, don't just sell. So we touched on this a little bit earlier. Position your products or services as solutions to your customers' problems rather than just things to buy. Show how you can improve their lives, not just by offering a product, but by understanding their needs and providing meaningful solutions. Use empathy in your messaging. Number 5, when crafting your marketing messages, make sure they are customer-centric. Instead of talking about your brand and what you do, lead with how you help your customers and why it matters to them. Number 6 is to personalize your approach. Leverage data to personalize your marketing messages and experiences, because when people feel like you're speaking directly to them, they're more likely to engage with your brand. Empathy should be woven into every part of your marketing strategy, from the way you craft your ads to the customer service experience you provide, and of course, to your marketing copy. Human-centered marketing isn't just a nice to have. It's essential for building lasting relationships with your customers and driving sustainable business growth. By focusing on empathy and understanding your audience on a deeper level, you can create marketing that resonates, builds trust, and ultimately drives better results for your brand. So it's a win-win, right? Go ahead and take a step back from the traditional transactional mindset and start thinking about how you can connect with your customers in a more meaningful human way. Your business and your customers will thank you for it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Brand for Good show. If you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and leave a review so other purpose-driven leaders can find this valuable content. To learn more about building a brand for good, please visit prosperforpurpose.com for more resources and information on all the ways you can work with us.